Just trying to relax, and there must have been 20 or 30 of them. Hello, good
Hey,
evening.
who are you? Where's Chris?
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Where's your buddy?
Which one?
This guy.
He's not here today.
He won't be
Where
here.
is
Uh-huh.
I'm
Who are
here.
you?
I know.
When I'm off, I get a replacement.
We pay him enough, he's probably in Aruba.
I was just in the Bahamas a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
don't rub it in.
A friend they renewed their vows. They got married in the Bahamas 20 years ago, and the
Okay.
taxi driver was their witness. So they wanted the whole wedding. It was,
Taxi
they
driver was the
figured about 400,000 they spent. Oh, yeah.
And they left you back in the country knowing where you were?
Yeah,
Oh,
really.
my goodness.
It was crazy money.
Well, I
They
guess they
changed
had
my
it.
room or
You have to have it, you're gonna spend it.
Oh, they have it.
We're waiting for anybody? Oh,
Georgianne.
Georgianne's here tonight, okay. So those apps.
Good evening. Good evening.
We've just been chatting.
Good evening. I run into you in church. I run into you,
You should
Some
walk
strange
around or
places, yeah.
you're gonna get hurt.
Hey, you got yourself this week.
I'm here.
That was my
I'm
Christmas
doing
present.
great yourself.
My wife got me those tickets for Christmas presents.
I had a really good time.
Yeah, he was funny.
He was funny.
Good?
Yeah.
Please rise for the pledge.
Behind you.
We relocated, you haven't been here for a few months.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cruz?
Here.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Here.
Mr. Schwartz?
Present.
Mr. Unite?
I'm in. We had an executive session prior to this meeting dealing with personnel. And we have a set of minutes from February 26th to approve. If you read them. I did.
Make a motion to approve as sent.
Motion was made by Mark to approve them as sent.
Second.
Seconded by Chris. Any questions, additions, or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unite?
Yes, motion passed. Okay, where we at? Public comment. Do we have any public comment dealing with agenda items? All right. Checks to be approved. I need my reading glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a motion to approve checks 4523 through 4615,
So moved.
totaling $256,183.23?
So
Make a
moved.
motion.
Second, moved, whichever.
Motion is made by Georgianne, seconded by Mark. Questions? Roll call.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unite?
Yes, motion passed. Supervisor's business, Brett,
Let the
please.
mask go there.
All right, item number A, you have a recommendation to approve the financial security release number 1 for Sunny Slope Crossings major subdivision. The amount is $5,130,457.40. The engineer has reviewed it. They have felt that they've completed that dollar amount of the improvements. In your electronic packet, you had a breakdown of what was completed, what wasn't. So we would be looking for a motion to approve the security release number 1 request from Sunny Slope Major Subdivision for the reduction of $5,130,457.40. The remaining balance would be $2,384,019.60.
So moved.
So motion moved.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Mark, second by Georgianne. And that motion came as per letter from Hanover Engineering dated March 4th, 2026.
Correct. And it's just a release of funds in a financial security release. It's not an actual escrow reimbursement.
Correct,
Right.
correct. This is not cash that we're
Right.
holding, it's a bond that's
It's a
being
bond.
secured.
Okay, questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unite?
Yes, motion passed.
Item number B, we have a recommendation to approve resolution 2026-08 which is authorizing the execution of the sewage facilities planning module for tax parcel ID L616-10. This property is on Steuben Road on the south side. It's a property that Greg and Moore owns, and it's between the old greenhouses and the township line. There's a land swap being proposed with the owners on that road, and they need this to create the two-lot subdivision on the south side. You just approved the north side's planning module, I believe, last month or the month before.
So the two lots you just referenced, they're gonna be the parent lot plus one?
So it'll be one parent plus one, yeah,
Same side.
on the same side.
Near the woods? Near the
I think the
area?
woods are part of the parcel, but it's near the house that has the stone wall, I believe, around it
Okay.
at the township line.
And then what happened on the north side?
So
That's the house,
th-
right?
there's
That's the house, but I'm trying to figure out.
there's a parcel that goes up between. There's a lot that's already created between the stone home and Greg and Moore's home. There's land that goes from the stone home behind that lot. They're now taking the property line all the way back to the creek, and then the front will be combined with the rear that's being conveyed. And then they're gonna be buying the two parcels across the street, but Greg is gaining on one lot on the north, and they're gaining and buying the lot on the south.
Just the lot on the south,
Correct, which they're
Not the whole
creating
field.
two lots out of.
the whole field, not?
Not the whole field that's there, it's, I wanna say it's like 3 acres.
No, that's fine.
So you're looking for a motion for resolution 2026-08 for lot parcel L6, 16-10-0508 for approval.
Yes.
I make that motion.
Motion's made by Chris,
Second.
seconded by Mark. Any further questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unang?
Yes, motion passed.
The next item we have is the continuation on truck replacements. I was able to reach out to Embassy Bank, and I was not able to find any other banks that lease. I did try calling Fulton, who we used in the past. I have to find a contact for their leasing department because the branch does not answer the phone. So if we wanted to, we could potentially secure a municipal loan, which would be similar to a lease, but we wouldn't have a dollar buyback provision. The interest rate would probably be 6% is where we're looking. So I don't know if it's even worth doing that unless you want a lower payment that you're not outlaying it all at once.
No.
What was the final on this one?
I think it was 300 and some thousand. I don't have it in front of me.
Just buy it. No reason to pay interest.
That's true.
No, we're sitting on CDs that are getting 4,
Yeah, so why pay 6?
so why are we paying 6?
Yeah. And it's in the budget,
So the chassis is 189,000.
right?
The upfit I think was 100 and
It's gotta get done, cause you can't buy a truck complete, you gotta get it and then add the stuff you want to it, so
pull it over.
no way around it. And if we don't continue to refresh our fleet, then we're not gonna have enough trucks to plow.
Or we'll need too many of them.
So it's 126,000 for the upfit.
And it's not like we're gonna pay this and get it tomorrow either, so,
That's true.
you know,
No, this very well,
takes a while.
the chassis will come in 90 days. I imagine the body is 6 months.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at the end of the year.
Yeah, so I think we should just, if that's what you're looking for, I'll make a motion that we just outright pay what we need to get the chassis and pay what we need to get the upfitting, so that we can maybe have this in 6 to 9 months.
Do we have a
What
total?
line item's this coming out of?
So it would be out of the capital line item for now. We do have a balance in the capital, which I can pull up. Can you go down to the treasurer's report?
It goes like, I see 4.
So keep going down. I don't have it because the CDs aren't listed.
Yeah.
So when the CD comes to term, I believe it's 750,000.
Right, right.
That we have. When that CD comes to term, we will go out and,
And it'll occur in the same year of this purchase, so.
correct.
Yeah.
We'll be pulling out of that. It's not out of the general fund.
This is normal road crew, replacement type vehicle. It's used year round, used heavier in the winter, but it's still used year round when we need it, so. It's not like it's just gonna sit there.
I'll second that motion, Mark made.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Motion was made by Mark, seconded by Chris. Really would like a total price.
That's what I asked for.
It's $316,861.
Yeah.
No, just so it's in the motion.
Chassis
Yep.
versus upfit.
And it would be purchasing it from Trans Edge Truck and EM Kutz with those prices.
And what was the cost?
The cost of the chassis is $189,431.
That's for the truck.
The body, the plow, the hydraulics, everything related to the plowing portion is $126,730 for a total cost of $316,861.
Correct, include that in the motion.
And we'll put it in the
And I
minutes
still
too to
second.
reflect.
Thank you.
Not cheap anymore, huh?
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunziker?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unanue?
Yes, motion passed.
All right, item number D, we have the continuation of the discussion of rental inspection program. Last month you asked, or last meeting, you had asked about a couple of ordinances that basically, one from a borough, one from a township. The two townships that I was looking at, they did it a little bit differently than I think we're looking at. So I provided you an email, the ordinance from Northampton Borough, and I also did Lehighton Borough. Lehighton Borough breaks theirs out into two parts. The first part of theirs is they do a property maintenance inspection on all rental properties. So the standards for improving is the property maintenance code. Now, Northampton Borough has a separate checklist, they're not going off the property maintenance code, and we do have the International Property Maintenance Code adopted here. So we already have all of those things.
All of mine say the file cannot be downloaded.
Can you hit download?
Yep. File cannot be downloaded, so I can't open it.
You tried doing it there. So the other one is Northampton Borough, which has it's based on a separate standalone checklist that council has adopted and has gone out. So there's nothing that is as broad
preview
as,
it.
okay. I think it's an Outlook issue. But when you look at Lehighton, they also break it off into rooming houses and boarding houses or multifamily. And then they go through and have a registration, and they have to keep a log of the tenants that are there. There are some provisions which I don't think necessarily apply. One of those is disruptive renters, that when they have disputes of tenants, that if the police get called so many times, they then basically put the landlord on notice. I don't think we need to look at anything with that.
Well, plus you're not gonna be able to track it.
Well,
They
we're
have their own
not.
police.
Correct. We don't have
Ours
that.
don't enforce.
No, they would not come
Yeah,
in.
so nothing's gonna happen. Local ordinance is unenforceable other than the code enforcement officer.
Correct.
I looked at some of those, there's some of the stuff in there that I think we're going way too far into the weeds on some of them.
I agree too.
I have no problem doing one. I would like to see it for multi-family units
Or boarding houses,
or boarding houses.
right.
Single family though,
I think it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of
yes,
work.
like, I
Right.
mean, they could be getting hit for 4 rentals in a year,
Mm-hmm,
inspections.
right. If somebody moves out and goes back in,
Yeah, somebody only stays there sometimes 6 months at a time. 3
or
months at a
sooner
time.
if they don't pay.
Right.
No place that doesn't by the month.
Yeah.
Ray, how many phone calls are you getting about, tenant complaints about landlords?
So
about
we
in a
can
month.
discuss this, or we can beat it all to death, and I think how you have to look at it is whether it's single family or multi. Single family can present your biggest problem for a landlord that really doesn't want to take care of that property, that we arrive on and deal with that call. You've been in the emergency services as well as I have, and you know what we deal with when we're out on those streets. So putting an exclamation there saying we're not going to do single family, I think that's wrong. In the township, we have a lot of those single family that are being rented out. And probably because we stumble across them because we wind up going to, whether it's a medical call or a fire-related incident on those locations. So I'm understanding, we're not gonna know all of them. If you find 50%, but even if you found 1%, it's better than no percent in dealing with the general public, because we're there to help them. And saying that you're going to, oh, it's gonna create a burden on the landlord or the tenant because he's gonna increase rent. Well, really? To justify somebody's safety in their own home, or the resident next door that you're not having.
And I'm not arguing with you, but what makes the difference between a rental for a single family or a single family home? They're taking the same risk, correct?
What's that?
A single family home, if I own it, why aren't we inspecting them then? That's my argument,
No.
you know?
But how many are you getting
I
a
have
month
no problem with
complaints from?
multifamily.
But you're entrusting you're trusting that the landlord's gonna maintain a safe environment that you're renting. As opposed to me, I'm making a conscious decision to have a crappy house that I'm risking my life in. That's my decision, my life, my family.
And you have the option not to rent that place if it's crappy.
Sure, but you don't always know that he has an inferior heating system, or he's got an inferior wiring in the house. I mean, you don't, if you're not a specialist in those areas, you don't necessarily know that there's problems with those systems.
And there's no escape for them. I mean, if that's where they're locked in, and once you get a landlord that decides that they're not gonna take care of that property, they don't file a complaint up here, or they will call and file a complaint, but they won't follow through with it because they're scared of the retaliation behind it. Or a program like this that's initiated, that if they are on the radar, one of us is coming out, you deal with this with your facilities that you have, your building. You know what I mean? So at least somebody can be on the up and up, living here, and, you know, if I'm the tenant, I know somebody's eventually gonna come around. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look like my name's hanging out there when there's a problem. Or, as Mr. Mills said, you know, some of us aren't, hey, I can afford this, I can walk into this. If we have an inspection program, those fees are already gonna be in place. So when I'm living here, hey, I'm gonna come here, I can afford this house. At least I can have the decency of understanding that somebody looked at it, and my money that I'm paying to live here safely is being used for a good cause. You
Well,
know what I'm
there'll
saying?
be increased costs
And
involved,
to
that's
answer your
what's gonna
question,
happen.
We could go no months, or we could go 3-4 months with incidents in the township, you know, dealing with rental properties.
But how many
You know,
people call into the office,
that
would you
would-
say? Angela? About how many people? I mean, we're looking at a high volume of people calling, or you're
Probably-
finding things, or how many a month?
We
Because
probably
we'll have to
have,
hire somebody and spend all this money, and I don't know,
We get
like
a
starting
lot
in one way and then working our way down.
we get a lot of scared residents who don't
Scared
want to give their names.
But they call up and say
and
that
call
they
and
feel
say,
their
I
house
have
is
an issue,
dangerous.
but I don't want to give my name and I don't want you to come out, but I have an issue.
Yeah,
And we have a handful.
and that doesn't help if
And
you
how-
can't,
how often?
Their fear is being evicted, they can't afford anything else. They don't want
Right.
to get evicted, but they don't feel safe.
Like, I understand that, because my
So-
niece was in that position too when she rented up in
Yeah.
Northampton. You know,
I
but
mean,
I was just
number
wondering
is
how
just
many
varies.
people
Have
are
to be
calling
really
in
egregious
roughly, is it like,
intentional? Yeah,
I mean, it's not like
we're
every
not-
week, but
We're
we
just
do
don't look at it
get
that way.
like a couple a month maybe?
I don't even know if
No,
it's a
it's not
couple.
much.
I mean, you probably have a handful a year.
handful a year.
I mean,
But
if
I
we're
mean,
gonna
we
adopt
get-
something,
so
how are we
here-
gonna handle it? Like,
Here
who's
is an
going out?
example of one that came in. I mean, we had a light complaint. Because
A
there's
what?
a light disturbance. And they're complaining about the neighbor's light and the landlord not taking care of the light, and it's causing them not to sleep and they're getting insomnia. I don't know if that's,
from a light.
yeah. So it would be different if you had people's contact information, and if a tenant does come in, that, hey, we've gotten this complaint from somebody. Now, if it's inside the building, there's no heat or nothing else, and depending on how it is, I mean,
Right.
we can make a call, but if they don't give us their information, we're not gonna respond to an anonymous complaint either.
Right.
Right.
So we try to tell them it is anonymous, it's not like they have to testify and give us this, it's not a work product that's gonna be released. But we have people that file property maintenance complaints that do the same thing that aren't tenants. It ebbs and flows. I mean, most times in my experience, we have people that file complaints because their landlord is being unreasonable, and then we become the arbitrators and mediators of what they have to have and what they don't have to have.
I know in Slatington, they send it out and they pay $20 and they come out every 5 years. You know, but they have emergency contacts if somebody's living within 30 minutes of the house, you know what I mean, compared to.
Well, that's how
New Jersey or
Northampton
Ohio.
is.
You know what I mean, so, I mean, it's less work involved when you have, like, just have everyone register and,
Which we have registrations now technically for the moving permits under a moving permit ordinance. We just don't send out the letters because we don't get a response back from it. And it's something we can send out, it's not that difficult, but how far do you wanna chase it?
right.
I mean, we sent out, I mean, how many moving permit letters?
50.
We sent out 50 moving permit letters, and I think we got a response of, what, 20?
We got like half, a little bit less than half back.
Yeah, it's not, and that's just moving permits.
Right, 'cause a lot
Now,
of
there is
people
no
don't-
registration fee to register your
Right.
tenants, but I think a lot of times it's just out of sight, out of mind. It's not something that,
The main thing that we have to do first in getting this is, if you look at Northampton Section 3, the Borough Code Enforcement Officer appointed by the Borough Council shall administer this ordinance. So they have a full-time person that is the one that's responsible. It could be more
Well,
than
they-
one.
One
They
and
have-
I'm just saying that
three
they have,
part-timers.
they have a full-time person that is responsible for enforcing this and handling it. We can put the best ordinance in place, but if we don't have someone that's going to be able to enforce it or keep up on it on a daily basis, it's just gonna fall by the wayside anyway, because it's a third-party organization. So before we do anything, we gotta make sure that we have the teeth to enforce it, because you could put anything on paper, and then if there's nothing there or no one that can actually go on the property and do something, you're, you know, I don't wanna say useless, but it's useless.
well, you can't go on the property until you get permission to go on the property.
Right, but I mean, you can't even have that started until you have someone that's take charge and does it. And with the current staff level we have, nobody here can do that.
I think Angela could, she has time.
In your spare time, right?
We got badges to hand out.
Oh, God.
There's a badge in a drawer over there somewhere.
Oh, my God.
I really think
I wanna
we
do
should
it, I
have
wanna
it
do
for
it.
multifamily, because you're taking one landlord that is putting all those families in that unit at risk if it's wrong. If it's a single-family person, you're taking that risk no more than you are taking a risk what you do at your house. You're not affecting multiple families. That's where I think we should look at it.
Well, I think it's a gradual start to something that if we have more fire calls and incidents, you can come back and modify and then incorporate those properties in.
I agree.
But if we have that, I mean, we have the International
gotta start
Property
somewhere.
Maintenance Code that we can target and go after.
But we need someone that can enforce it.
Right.
Right.
Paid employee. I don't see this working with a third-party organization.
Cause the one that you had me at, Okay. that International Property Maintenance would have handled it. Cause there was no way that would have got through that ordinance.
Well, even the zone, I mean, that, he was,
There's no way it would have
he's
got through.
basically operating a bona fide junkyard on a property that was an auto parts store that has now turned into a car cemetery. And now there's multiple other properties that are in the same boat.
Is that a legal definition, car cemetery? I like that.
There's a lot of nice old cars back there.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
But it all
But-
comes down to,
Yeah,
you
you
need
should all
someone to
sell
enforce it.
'em.
And part of that, I mean, that one was a legally permitted apartment.
Legally or illegally?
Legally, I think it was one, was permitted by the zoning hearing board. Well, nobody would know that here because we don't look at those decisions in those properties, so we're not gonna know what has been granted previously.
So if that was a single family listed here,
That was
his
two.
plan went right out the door, and we had multi-families living
Yeah,
there.
that ain't what I mean.
But I
You
think-
can have an exception to every rule.
I think
What I'm
he's
trying to
still-
say is, when you do, if I'm a landlord and I have multiple families in there, I'm responsible for multiple families. I'm taking all those families under my house saying it's good. Where you, as a single family, can make that decision on your own, it's your own decision. You're not putting other families at risk, is what I'm just saying. I'm not saying that matters less. I'm just saying a starting point for me would be multifamily.
And also the thing is that if someone is an owner like the one on Weaverville Road from Ohio, you know, that you can ask them to have someone that's local that's gonna be taking over to maintain it and watch it,
I
you know.
totally understand, and that goes with the same thing with the single-family stuff.
Right.
We have owners that aren't in this commonwealth
Nope.
of these buildings.
Right.
There is nobody to help these people out. We have no resources up here. You know, and I know you're not gonna be 100% perfect, I understand that. And yes, we can start at ground level one, and I'm completely understandable. But I think as the township goes, and I trust me, I attend a lot of meetings here, planning commission as well. And I spoke with the gentleman over there. You're growing, and unfortunately, I see things that I don't like to see in a community of ours. And that goes from the residential aspect of it to the commercial side of it. Because without somebody checking, and I know you don't want to be babysitters, your potential for hurting somebody or loss of life just escalates. And if you want to be in that community, you know, so be it. But we're hold responsible. We're the ones that are facing it and seeing it, and that's why I call certain circumstances, I have to call you out to actually see what's going on. You can't sit up there behind that desk and not really get a good point of view. I'm a deputy chief with this organization down here. I'm telling you what I'm seeing in our community. You know,
You
I'm
can't
getting
report
in
it to us
those
what
houses.
addresses there are?
So you have to, and even going towards our previous code enforcement. And yes, we made a million leaps and bounds by the individual that's in there now. But prior to that, everything was dropped on the desk, was pushed to the wayside. You know what I mean? So those problems just continue to develop. So we have third-party agencies we're spending an enormous amount of money on because I don't know why whatever issues, we won't hire somebody directly that can deal with all us on a day-to-day basis, from council to emergency service to planning committee, whatever it may be. I don't understand that. And as Mr. Schwartz said, if you get somebody to do building inspections, I wouldn't want a third party. I would want somebody that, hey, I call them, they know East Allen Township, they know how we work, they know how council works, they know how management works, administrative in there. We're kicking the can down the road, and, you know, I'm seeing it in communities next to us, you know, that we're going into. They're growing leaps and bounds, and yeah, they've got a good pot full of money sitting next door. You know, it sounds great, but you're sitting there not doing anything, and we were walking into buildings going, what the heck just happened? You were administered as CEO, and now all of a sudden, the township ain't never coming back here again. You walk in there and go, what happened?
Everything's
You know,
changed.
Everything changed.
Yep.
We have single-family homes where they're removing the staircase, putting a staircase out in the garage to make a second floor, to put two families in a single-family home.
And nobody knows nothing about it.
Yeah, and we stumble over it, but so where do you want to go in our current code enforcement? She's busy. You know, she told me in the room when I've had conversations, she goes, Ray, I can't do this. So what do we do as a community, as deputy fire chief, as council? What do we do?
Well, the thing is, if you would hire someone, then it's ended up, we're gonna have to raise taxes on everyone, because the cost of someone to go out there and do that kind of work is very expensive. And
But if
you're not
you
gonna
started
keep
part-time,
it up.
maybe Mr. Cruz stated, maybe we start small, and you build across that program. Everyone I talk to, until you get into commercial side of it, and maybe Brent can attest to it, is residential, you're not gonna make money off of it. It's the commercial side of inspections is where you can start looking at.
Well, I'm not, I don't
Yeah,
want.
we don't wanna make
I don't
money.
look at it, I'm speaking for myself, I'm not looking at something where the township wants to make money off it. It's about safety.
I don't
Right,
think
and
you
that's
should make
where I'm
money
at.
off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like,
I don't have a lot to say about this, but I think this topic has reached a federal level, right? And the federal level, the topic is businesses, people are buying up not only buildings, but single-family homes and turning them into rentals. by the blocks, by the boatloads. It's the new gold mine, right? Because people have to live someplace, right? So it's gonna happen, it's happening. Like I said, it's reached federal level. Trump talked about putting out some kind of a law or requirement that commercial businesses can't buy single-family homes because it just drives up the price and they turn them into rentals. So whether we, as you said, if we wanna stick our head in the sand and kind of ignore it, it's happening in the township and it's
Oh, we know
gonna
it's
continue to
happening.
happen,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
At an alarming rate, more than
We
we
know
probably
it's
think.
Right.
So I think we need to evaluate and come up with a good, solid starting point, and then see how it rolls forward. But I don't think we can afford to ignore it at this point either, because it's, you know, it's
But I
gonna
think
put
it
a lot
is
of.
important, but how far do we wanna go? That's what it is, you know, like how, I mean, the one in Northampton is very intense. And it costs a lot of money, $50 a year, and then you have $50 every time somebody moves out, and then $50 when somebody else moves in. You know, I mean, we're talking hundreds of dollars, and usually the landlord does not recoup that unless they put the rent up, which
So
is
could
costing
you
more.
Could you look at that same program, and again, we could be here all night discussing this.
Right.
I don't want to be. But if we did a yearly inspection on the program, I mean, on the facility, do we really have to go back if they change tenants? Maybe
I don't
if you
think-
do
I don't
a
think
year,
it's-
you do 2 years, so you're not placing a burden on the landlord.
Right.
We're not looking at making money off of this, like, you know, hey, every time you change hands, you're gonna pay us $50.
Right.
No, as long as we get somebody in there once a year or every 2 years, that way if, you know, some of these multi-family places, when they start changing the layouts and we walk in here and go, wait a minute, you know, why'd you get 3 more tenants added to this facility, or why are these walls gone? It's just,
See, I would think the exact opposite as far as the way I was picturing anything that I would vote for would be not a yearly or a bi-yearly or every 5 years. I was thinking you'd want to do it at the tenant change.
I think you almost have to do it that way just because if you're evicting somebody, what are the chances that they don't sabotage your unit in some way?
Right.
That, I think that's the scenario that most are facing, that when you're seeing those turnarounds, the every so many years is fine, but things can change and go bad that are incidental.
Oh, yeah.
But I
it
think
can.
it's more the tenant change that you're concerned about. I mean, there's some,
There has to be an initial inspection, because otherwise you would never know, because there's
Well,
people
yes.
there's people that switch tenants and we never even know about it.
There's rental units that we don't even know about.
Right,
Right.
and there's rental units we don't
And they
know
don't
about.
wanna sign up for any kind of,
So initially, you're gonna have to do every rental that's known, and then from then on, every time it changes.
or come up with something you put in the paper and like, and that's what Northampton started with, they put it in the paper all the time, they kept saying, we're gonna start this rental policy.
That's great,
And you have to sign up or you get fined so much
They gotta come
money.
in.
Nobody,
So then
yeah,
you think, well, you don't wanna pay the fine.
Nobody buys the
so you gotta
paper
make sure
anymore,
that you get
and they
your
have to actually
And
come
it goes
in.
by taxes
Yeah.
too, like where the address is, but it is a lot of work.
I don't buy a paper.
No, I'm hearing you. All right, somebody explain to me how you start at the ground floor. That was used twice
So there's-
tonight.
there's two ways you go about right now. It's you're gonna do every rental unit, and then you're gonna come up with a sequence on initial, a term, whether it's every 4 years, or you're gonna go in and do it at the time of tenant change, but there's gonna be an initial. The other option is to do anything where there's 2 or more families, and the same thing, and you could do that yearly. I mean,
If it's multifamily, you could do it yearly, sure.
and if it's a boarding room, you could have stronger issues. I mean, I think there was one where they had an issue where the tenant was probably not somebody that should be living there and causing problems, and those scenarios are different than a single family where, maybe they acted out and they have an actual lease. I don't think they have leases in the rooming houses that we're seeing, some
I
of them.
think they usually do.
Because in Weaversville, you
'Cause
can
they have to
rent
cover
just a
them-
room.
Well, maybe
You think
not.
you
We
can
do.
rent a room for a day
Yeah.
or a week?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
No, and that's where,
And not that I ever see anybody there, but at Frank's Corner, they have units there that you can rent too.
Wouldn't doubt it.
I don't
think
ever
half
see
the
any
building's
cars there.
falling
but-
down too.
no, that's across,
Oh, is that?
he's talking about the barn house,
Yeah, the barn house
Oh,
has,
behind the barn,
Oh,
where
that- yeah,
the
they
old
have
yeah,
motel
one,
have
is.
two,
long-term
three, four,
care.
5, 6, they have at least 8 units there, maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they keep those just for weddings.
I don't
But
think
it's
so
still a
anymore,
rental,
Right.
I was told they're
and
just letting.
and it's by the,
Yeah.
it's by the day or
Whether it's-
by the weekend, because it's not, you know,
You're right.
it's not
Yeah,
somebody
I never see any
there
cars
on a
parked
long-term
back there,
basis.
and I went there a couple times by there.
We were there for a few weddings and they had them rented out.
So-
Like for weddings when they drink.
The next steps, if you wanted to do anything, would be to proceed with drafting something based on whatever the consensus is today from the board on some sort of direction.
We need a hit list of what we want accomplished before you can even draft an ordinance, because we can't encompass all of Northampton. There's no way that we're gonna be able to do that, because we don't
Well,
have
and I
a
think-
full-time staff member to do that.
Some of these programs, like you'll see in Northampton, they're trying to deal with the issue of what Bob was mentioning, where landlords are coming in and buying properties, converting properties, they're not doing with permits, they're having nuisance tenants, they're getting calls, they're having issues with the police going out all the time, or parties, or other things that happen. So, the quality of life issues were part of it, but a lot of the boroughs are dealing with that because you have a home every 25 feet, and we have to deal with that.
Right, a lot of
So
twins
that's
and
what you
stuff.
will see on a lot of these ordinances. Now, there was one, I think it was Plains Township that I gave you. They're up outside of Wilkes-Barre. They have basically a report that the tenants can get from the township that basically says this was inspected and here you go. It just depends on how you go
Nobody
about.
puts in moving permits, do they? Because it seems like a lot of people want to put them in because.
Well,
then
nobody
they have
knows
to pay
why,
a
I
tax.
mean, I guess the bigger question is, why do you need a moving permit? And that's what I think people
Oh, I
ask
thought it was
themselves.
actually a law to do
It is a
It
law,
is.
it
People
it is a
just
law,
don't do
no, I'm
The
not,
only way your name gets moved tax-wise.
People just don't do it.
I
well,
put it on for my tenants when they send me the paper that they're there, because I know they don't.
but see, and that's where a lot of the leases that I see is the tenant is responsible for filing the moving permit and everything else, the landlord is not responsible for it, and it's mainly for us, for
But when you
tax
get the paper,
purposes.
it asks you who lives there, and you always fill it out and put who's living there, but they don't do it, but once a year Northampton sends it out.
Northampton, but for us, I mean, it's basically to let Keystone Collections know where people are at. Now, there has been changes that have been instituted in a multitude of systems that people interact with that we don't, the moving permit was the way of dealing with tracking of people 40 years ago in that manner. Today, you have your driver's license updates, you have county records that get updated, you have information that's coming more instantaneously than what you did when somebody moved in, for tax purposes. So your employer, when you're working, is responsible to verify your address on their verification forms, and they pay the penalty if you omit that on your local service tax or EIT returns. That's something that's relatively new with the advent of the tax collection committee and that process. So with that, I mean, we've caught up on kind of those different things, so you have a moving permit basically to notify us that, hey, there's somebody there. Now, we really don't do anything with it. We'll send it to the county, but internally, we're not updating our systems, there is nothing. We might add them to a subscription list for emails,
But the EIT thing will tell you where they're at, it won't tell you whether they're an owner or renter.
Correct.
Right.
So you're
Correct.
still
Only
not
the
getting any
tax
update on
papers
that.
show.
well, no, for the purposes of the program, we're not, but you know where their residency is of where they're
You just
claiming
know
to live.
where they are.
Correct.
You don't know how they.
Well, all they care about is getting the 0.5% or
I
1/4%
understand, I
or,
understand.
they don't,
I'm just saying you can't use it as your data collection because it's just gonna show where.
correct. Now, I don't know what the state collects and the data that they get in, because I'm assuming you have to pay sales tax on some things, but
You're not gonna get any information from revenue.
no.
Can you report that when you go out to a place that it looks like that?
Can I report it to you?
Can you report it to
Absolutely.
someone?
Depending on the actual incident, I actually, until the size of the incident under Commonwealth, I believe, the building's mine, once you 911 me if you have a fire, until I release that custody back to you or Pennsylvania State Police, it becomes our building, so, I mean, it's not nice people walking around prodding and probing in people's buildings, but, you know what I mean, that's where we find out a lot of the problems that happen, and we can report them back, and we have. But in the past, they weren't.
Can we mine out of the, sample ordinances that we do have, what they check for?
Well,
Because
you
I'm
can.
trying to not blow this off tonight, but I'm trying to keep the meeting moving and we're not getting anywhere.
That's
So,
why I said, we need a hit list, a checklist of what we
if
want
we
done.
can come up with a
I have a
heating
copy at
system,
home.
water, smoke detectors, you know, what do
Electrical
they
outlets.
even look for?
Most of them, so they're looking at the whole exterior, they're looking at the roof, they're looking at the outside windows, the siding, the steps, the railing. They're
Electrical
looking at
outlets.
virtually everything on the outside. They then go inside, they're looking at structural components. They're looking at, do doors open, do windows open? Is the electrical panel safe? Are the utilities safe? Do you have hot water? Where's the hot water at? Then they go into fire safety. Do I have smoke detectors? If there's fossil fuels burning, do you have a
CO
CO
detectors.
detector that's actually functioning? I mean, I think the biggest thing is the CO detectors, the
And the
smoke
only way you
detectors
get
and-
away from the CO is if it's all
I
electric.
have a copy at
Correct.
home,
And
I
to
could
go
copy
along
it.
with what Mark's saying, without a list, we need a list to to instruct him to draft something.
Well, most ordinances just adopt their internet, the international property
Yeah,
maintenance
but there's
code.
way too much in there for
Which we
us.
already have.
I have one at
Which-
home, I have a copy of one at home.
Which, the International Property Maintenance Code is very broad,
Yeah,
that almost everybody will have a violation on their property, and
Yeah.
if that's the requirement to lease out, that can be very subjective depending on the person. And that's where you get into these interpretation issues of the inspector.
that's why I don't like this chat GBT or AI stuff, because oh, this is all broad and encompassing. Yeah, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for actual things to be done. We don't want 16 paragraphs telling you how to do one thing.
And my one guy took all my smoke detectors out, so I had to come back.
You know,
So I do have a list of.
So-
you have a 400-page law that's drawn to tell the owner to pick up the dog excrement.
I can get you the checklists for the ones that I sent, and you can peruse that. But for the sake of kind of narrowing down, what is the consensus right now?
Right.
Do you want to do all properties? Do you want to do,
I would say all rentals that we know about, because obviously if we don't know about it, we can't do anything about it. All rentals that we know about, and when this first goes through, to only be fair, you're gonna have to inspect every one of them. Because there's no way that you can just say when the tenants change, because what if you have a guy that has a tenant that's there for 20 years, so that it's never gonna get checked initially either? You know, I mean, when you put a law like this into effect, it's gotta encompass everybody.
And that's the problem, because to start this out, are we gonna get 100 or are we gonna get 500?
Right.
And
well,
I'm
I think the
thinking if
last time we did tenant registrations, we had 100 that were there. Out of that 100, there's probably 15 to 20 that are no longer rentals. That doesn't mean more rentals have been added.
Right.
Um,
But you gotta get a number first.
Can't we just start with like the apartments, boarding houses and stuff, and then like in 6 months, then go to the next thing, like phase it in? Instead of
Yeah,
doing
you can
everything
do
at once,
multi-step
because
first if
otherwise,
you want,
who's
sure.
gonna do it, and then we're gonna be
that's why I'm
overwhelmed.
just trying to get a
Yeah.
consensus, because you guys were kind of teeter-tottering, going all over the place. I just,
Let's come up with a punch list.
And put something in the paper saying that you'll be fined if you don't register.
Absolutely, it's gotta be.
That scares people.
and that's fine, but most landlords aren't gonna read the Northampton Press or the Home News, not to upset them.
Oh,
It
yeah,
can't
that's-
If they're
just go in
outside the
newspaper.
area, the
Right.
problem people that you are dealing with are not gonna respond to this.
It's gotta be mailed to the address of the property or the property owner, because there's no way that you can say, I put it in the paper. and-
So, if we went to implement this, regardless of the concept, we're basically looking at the tax records, and whatever property doesn't match, that has a owner occupied, that doesn't match the actual property address, we're gonna say, we presume this to be a rental property, and we're looking for,
And it goes by US mail, because otherwise they're never gonna,
well, it's gonna be certified, and,
well, you can do regular mail first, and then if you don't get the responses, then you can do certified. Because to
What
do
would this
everything
cost
certified
come
up
out of
front,
then, Brent?
isn't it
What
Where are we
was that?
certified?
taking the money out for this then? Like where are we, what,
it would be out of the,
But there's no budget line item whatsoever.
it would be out of the permits and licensing, and then the expenses would just be out of what we're paying for the third party.
So in October, we're gonna have to put this into the budget and actually put money aside for it, because right now, there's nothing.
Correct, and then it's coming up with actually your cost, cause I can assure you, you're not gonna pay $50 for a rental, it's gonna be more.
Mhm.
Cause there's no way, just, if you go third party, it's $100 an hour, and it's not gonna be a 30-minute visit to
Nope.
schedule your inspection
Nope,
and do the inspection.
correct.
So just to cover those costs, I don't really know what your fees are going to be.
They can hire like 2 part-timers.
You could hire part-timers, but
that you're discussing. Now, we have, there's some folks down there, which I could gladly ask, that are certified building inspectors
Where?
at the fire department, some of them that are down there. Actually, one of the guys that's staffing down there tonight is one. He's certified. If you wanted to use recruitment and retention to get you through the year to help get that, and if you wanted to use part-timers, you could have always asked them. I'm not doing it, but I can ask some of those folks that actually
No.
could.
Whatever we do, the only thing, even if we would vote to do it tonight, it can't take effect until January 1st.
First.
That's the only way it's gonna work.
Yep.
We got a budget in October, and then. it would
well,
take
you could
effect
send out the
January
notices, but we wouldn't do an inspection.
Yeah, you
And
could,
then I would
Yeah,
probably.
you
get
could mail
everything
stuff and
started.
get stuff saying, as of January 1st, this is what's going to occur, yeah, that you can do, yes. But like I said, certified letter's probably up to like $15 now.
No, it's not that high,
Is it
but
$7?
$7.95.
it's almost
$7, okay.
$8.
So I don't wanna send a certified letter to every residence at $7.95. I'd much rather spend whatever the God's stamp price is now, I don't
80
know.
cents or
80 cents,
something.
yeah, that's much better.
Well, those apartments on Weaversville, they have like one owner in Ohio, right? So you'd have to send a letter for each.
Well, yeah, it's gotta go to the owner.
I don't
We're
know.
way far ahead of
Yeah,
ourselves.
we-
We don't even have a clue what
Yeah,
we're talking
specific
about.
properties, it would not.
So why don't we get a punch list, if that's the correct term?
Punch
Well,
list?
it's an items
Come
of,
up with
these
a-
are the priorities of what we want to inspect and make sure that,
Like,
Correct,
but I wanna actually see the items,
yep,
you know,
Right.
and then.
and we can
and
edit
if
it
we-
before
if-
it gets
As the
further.
board goes, no,
Right.
we don't need to see that.
Right,
That way, or we wanna see this instead of that.
correct,
Or-
we can add to it.
Because if we're not gonna use the international building,
No,
you know,
that's way too freaking
maintenance code.
cumbersome.
he's gonna need very specific instructions on
Right.
what to draft.
Right,
Okay.
So,
he's gonna use ChatGPT,
he
right,
better
Joe?
not.
You're gonna use
better not.
ChatGPT.
I'm not an AI.
I'll just use somebody else's.
It's
I'm
the
not,
same
I'm not, I'm not an AI person, I don't want AI writing
Here's
this.
the point, you find everything, I mean, I'm looking at one right now that's really simple and basic as a startup, right? Then you get into something really detailed like the Borough of Northampton and some of the others, so I mean, you can pick and choose, I mean, and I don't wanna belabor this, but it's as simple as saying, what are you gonna define as a residential rental unit, a dwelling unit, any building or structure containing, this one says one or more residential dwelling units, if you wanna say, you know, more than one residential dwelling unit, well, there you go, you got your definition already, and that says it only applies if it has 2 or more residential rental units.
No, it's not
And-
fair, you gotta do every rental unit, you can't
Well,
just.
and that's fine too, I'm just saying that it depends on how technical you wanna be to start with. There are some that are very, very basic, you know, and, there wouldn't be more than 4 or 5 pages to adopt the thing, but again, they apply, there's, you know, zoning ordinance, Uniform Construction Code, 2018 International Property Maintenance Code. They define that as being the codes by which the inspections are performed by.
right.
And we can reference that in here, but we need to have our own. set.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
So we're
so
moving forward, we're
I will
getting a
get
punch
you-
list developed and of items that we need, and then that, we can move forward and add to it or edit it, and just gotta get something started.
okay. If there's nothing
Because
else on,
You know, if the international property maintenance, or whatever they call that, if there's room for interpretation, then you
Yeah.
have problems with this employee leaving, we have a new employee coming in, they don't read it the same way. Now
Right.
everybody's in violation all of a sudden.
Yep.
That, if there's a definite list, this,
Right.
this,
Yes, I agree.
then there's no interpretation.
Right.
That
Like
list
pass or
does
fail
have to
kind of
apply
thing.
to some standard though, and that standard.
yeah, I
may
think
be-
we're gonna have to come up with a standard
and your
in the
wording
ordinance.
has-
It
to
may be a
go-
standard in the National Building Code, but only applying to those items that are on the list, but
So
you're gonna
what-
have to have some standard that applies to that.
What I would
I understand
probably
that.
do is take the International Property Maintenance Code and take those sections
Yes.
and then actually just put them in the ordinance. Because the problem we have on citing, we have to handwrite our citations or typewrite them. We can't always just put them on a computer when we file, when we get to that point. We have to reference every single code section, so the property maintenance code, you're referencing the township's code number, and then whatever the section number, subsection, then the sub-paragraph, and going through it, and it becomes tedious. So I would put everything right into our ordinance that's part of the code, and not worry about another standard, other
Right.
than it has to meet the minimum standards within the
Make it
building code,
self-standing. Yep.
and zoning, it has to be a permitted dwelling that
And we
was
can
designed.
skip chapter 8. You know,
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't have to reference.
Yeah, I just wouldn't
you know.
reference the book that I would pull it in and just copy and paste it right out of the section in the standard.
Absolutely.
I got you.
I agree.
So then the next item we have for the last item is discussion on Tawanda Drive. So a couple years ago, the board had discussed sending the city of Bethlehem a letter. We had communication with them on Allegheny, Tawanda, and Oswego about the amount of water main breaks that we've had and the condition of the road that we cannot repair it until they replace their water mains. So they talked about doing it internally, which I think was basically just telling us, yes, we'll look into it. They did not do anything. Well, the past 3 months, we've had, I don't know, 8, 9 water main, or water sinkholes in an area of 400 feet of road. So the city, back in February, before we had the big snowstorm of the year, they had a water main break where they replaced, I believe, 100 feet of water main. They had another one break that they've now replaced 120 feet. So the road is basically closed. For the most part, it's not a through road. It's still in dirt conditions. We're still seeing sinkholes opening. And there's even some more that are now going off the yard. I wanted to bring it to your attention though, because I'm not sure if the water line's actually the issue or if there's something going on with the underground bedrock and limestone that is in that area. So we're gonna be setting up a meeting with the city of Bethlehem and Hanover Engineering to look at this, but I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention that this is a concern now. It is impacting pretty much on those water lines in those 3 roads. I don't know why the city has not replaced it. There is a crack or a break or a repair every 100 feet of main.
Oh, it's a mess down there, and I'm getting called on it and Facebooked and everything
Yeah,
about,
so,
I mean, they're going up their driveway, they'll
Yeah,
take their house one
We
day if they
gotta, we
don't
gotta
fix
keep,
it.
after the water authority to make
So-
sure that something's done.
I think they
we
were
are
all
gonna
gonna
be
come next
using
week or
the
next.
township geologist to go out and look at it, and we're gonna be doing exploratory digging with the city in the road. They've said they know it's the water main, they have to replace it. The water main right now is working, it's not shut off, but we are seeing those issues and we've been coordinating with them. But we may be using our professional staff to assist with determining what's actually going on here. Now, there's another section on the opposite side of the crest on Tawanda Drive that we had issues with previously, and we thought that was the one that was bad in 2018 and 2019. That has been fine, knock on wood. But there is a lot of issues on those sections now, so just wanted to bring it to your attention. After we have our meeting, we'll be coming back with something, but I don't believe we're gonna be paving those anytime soon.
Not
But
until that's fixed.
They
no.
do need to look at
Why can't
potentially,
they just fix the piping? I mean, it's been like that for 15 years.
that piping is original to the development, which was
Right.
probably put in
But you
nineteen
said they didn't have
sixty-eight.
money the last time they put it on the
1970.
list, but why can't
Well,
they just fix it?
What
Why
I
do we
was
have to spend
told
money to get
from the
involved?
supervisor is every time I go into my boss's office, he goes, I don't have any more money. I don't have anything in my pockets you can take. There is nothing left in our budget.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been a hard year for the city just in general. They've had more water main breaks this year than the
I'm
last
sure they
previous
did,
couple
and in
years.
Allentown too, but they at least fixed the lines then afterwards.
Well, they have fixed the lines, but they haven't gone out and replaced the whole main. So they have basically replaced 20-foot sections of
But
pipe.
there's some big holes out there in people's driveways. I'm afraid that they're gonna take their houses soon, you know what I mean? I went out a couple times to look when they called me.
Yeah, I don't think anything is close to the homes that we're worried about. Now, there is one underneath a pool in somebody's yard, and there's a tree. I don't believe it's tied to the water main, but that's on private property, and we're not going beyond our
Right.
right-of-way.
But how about the driveway and then the street right in front of it?
The driveway, because the water main was involved, the city is prepared to fix that and restore it. But you have to remember, this is a karst feature area, everything south of 329.
Right.
We're gonna have sinkholes. I mean, a word to everybody out there that listens and that's here, you need sinkhole insurance if you're in that
Oh,
area.
absolutely, everywhere around
And if
here.
you do not, you are running a huge, huge risk with it.
Because regular property insurance won't cover it.
No, they
Correct.
won't.
It is a special
That's what I
circumstance
told
in
my
your
friend down
policy.
there, just tell everybody to get sinkhole insurance.
Yeah,
Or
but you
maybe
can't
be
get
hard
sinkhole
now.
insurance after you have a sinkhole in
Right.
your front yard.
Too late then.
Yeah, that's like
Well, it's
smashing
in
the
the
car and
street
calling
now,
up
it's not in
the.
their house yet.
Yeah, so they are monitoring it, the city will answer calls. If a resident sees something, they can call, but there's no urgency that we're seeing. The city's monitoring their flow rates and other things, and they are coming out and doing inspections, as well as our public works is going out and checking on it.
Yeah, I see the
So-
trucks there a lot.
I mean, I think the city had talked to one of the residents, he called 3 times today, and we
We
can't
put
have.
a sign up by Osage though, so people don't drive all the way down there and they get mad and then turn around because they can't get through.
Did you get mad, Georgianne?
A couple times I went, it wasn't just me though, there was a couple people
Guess I
told me
see
that.
right through
I went
that.
all the way down there and I was like, damn it, it's still not open, turn around, I'm like,
It will be closed, and we can put out a reminder and put it on our
how do you know
Facebook page.
that?
And we can put up signage with the city signs that they
Yeah,
have.
I would
It-
say
it
just
will
say
be
closed
closed,
ahead. I've
and
seen a lot of people go down there and turn around,
we
it's just not
paved
me.
Monocacy in 2018. Take Monocacy Drive. Do not take Towanda or Oswego or Allegheny.
Yeah, and then I'll be falling in a hole, right?
Make sure you beep the horn when you go by Georgianne's house,
I didn't know it was me.
So
especially at 2 in the morning.
that is all I have for the sinkholes, but this area has become problematic with this.
But it's been like that for a long time and those poor people living.
Well, it's never been to the point where it's at now. I mean, we'll have a
Right.
sinkhole here or there. We'll have one in somebody's yard where the main and the service line has disconnected and you have that. This is now total section loss where the main actually dropped and it was not just a distribution line. And we're seeing some subsidence with the curbs. Now, the curbing is not our responsibility.
All right, whose is that? Will
It's
city
the
fix it?
owner, and if the city's line has destroyed it, but we're not going out and fixing
Right.
curb. And just as a note, we do not fix sinkholes really outside the curb or even the right of way. Now, what we see a lot of times is people call and say they have a sinkhole, it's because they cut their street tree down or a tree in the front yard and now the roots are rotted and they have,
Yeah.
but
Right,
just as a FYI to the board, if we have a sinkhole. Now, we will guide them to try to contact the contractor or geologist or their insurance carrier, but just as we get calls all the time.
too bad they don't put that in that paper they send out that has the same thing every 6 months from East Allen Township.
That's not ours, that's the
I know.
old company. I can call them up and say, hey, if you're still getting advertisers, can you put this in at least?
Can you put something good in there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's all we have for supervisor's business.
All right. Staff reports. We have treasury report. Any comments? Good, because we paid the bills already.
Yep.
Engineers, I went through quick. I didn't see anything that required action.
One was in
nothing.
red.
One, I think we had an extension, which we did receive.
Did they,
I think
did we
that-
receive it? Because
I
it
think
said
it came
it said if we
yesterday.
didn't receive it, we were supposed to
Yeah,
deny it.
we did receive it, but he mailed the report out prior to.
Okay. That was the only thing when I read the engineer's report. Sorry.
Yeah. No, we did get that.
problem. Public Works, we have their report.
I'd like to add to Public Works that if they can, I'm sure they are, but if they can check all of the drain and catch basins, a couple of the township roads I walked on, they're pretty clogged up, so if we get a good rain, there's gonna be flooding because the drains need to be cleared. And if it's a state one, if we could do the courtesy of calling PennDOT, just to help.
Did you ever spit in the wind?
Yes, I know.
What'd you
Okay.
say?
I
Oh,
know.
you call that 1-800.
But at least we can do the township
pothole
ones.
and
No,
they come
I
out.
will,
'Cause
we will make a note.
Circle Drive, where we take our walks, there's 2 of them on Circle Drive that are
The
really
nice one
bad.
right by the deck house up the road.
yeah, we will go out and double check those.
Because we're only gonna kid ourselves or have to go rescue, you know, and do it while it's raining. So it's much better to clear it now, while it's snowing. That's all I had to add for Public Works.
took it upon ourselves to clean up Route 512.
So I can understand that.
And a couple people have asked me, well, doesn't PennDOT do that?
No.
Yeah. Only thing they might fix is pothole ones. I haven't seen anybody cleaning garbage up for a while.
12 yards of garbage between my barn and School Road.
Oh, easily, yep.
12 yards
Yep.
of garbage.
Even on Samesville Road, it's horrible. I'm
3
picking
days.
stuff out of my yard every day.
God, that's ridiculous.
And the number one offender is water bottles.
And I can
In my
tell you
yard.
what the number one offender on 512 is.
Yeah.
No, mine's your fault.
She was at Wood. Iowa.
They just toss the water bottle out the window and it ends up in my yard.
Hundreds. Anyways, Planning Commission, we have a report, and we have their annual report.
Wow.
Everybody take a good look at that. Yes,
Bob's got
Mr.
his
Mills?
hand up.
Yeah, that's basically,
On behalf of the planning commission, we'd like to apologize for missing the March 1st date, but it's better than the June date from last year. So we're making significant strides forward. If there's anything you guys have to review it, have any questions, comments, or if you'd like to see anything changed or added or deleted, please forward that information on to us, and we'll make the adjustments come next year's report. If we'd have been on time, I probably wouldn't have been here, but since we were a little late and I said we'd be on time, I figured I would come to let you guys know where we're at.
March 12th is close enough to March 1st.
Yeah.
It's better, it's much better than it was, like I said.
No penalty.
What do you think, we're
considering
gonna
the fact-
fire you?
Yeah,
Do
right.
you think
Pardon?
do you think you're gonna get fired or something?
No.
Just less
Hey,
pay.
there never was one to begin with, right? So
Just less
we're
pay.
way
They're not
ahead.
getting a raise.
Less pay.
But, like I said, if there's any comments or suggestions, please forward them on and we'll take a look at them and try to implement them for the next one.
Okay, thank you.
Just a note for the board, I think Bob has done a wonderful job with the report and has put a lot of time and effort into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you for
No,
your
it's a
your
major
job.
step forward since we've been doing this.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Parks and Rec. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here.
I know.
The
I can't
minutes or
I
an
can't even pull it
agenda?
up.
What am I looking at?
I think it's an email that he sent with
Yeah,
his
it's just an
report.
email.
So he usually does it from the desk of, so I think it's just a list of activities and things going on.
Because if you read it, like, he sent Barbara an email.
Who's Barbara?
That's what I'm saying, I don't know what I'm looking at.
I don't know, huh?
I think it's down below.
Yeah, send an email to Barbara to see where we are.
But it's an update, but there's nothing in it saying what the update is.
That's my
So-
point, is I don't know what I'm looking at.
They had their meeting in March, the 24 acres, we're waiting to do restoration. The Barbara is for the Audubon Society. They are looking to put in several bluebird boxes as well as, I believe, an osprey box and
Osprey, did you say?
osprey.
Osprey, I was
Not
gonna say, well, I
ostrich.
would think so.
Osprey.
I thought we were getting
Okay.
ostriches.
Stocking ostrich.
And they also are
Make
putting
believers.
in, they're putting in bird boxes and they're
There you go.
We can move
themselves.
on, yeah, we're good.
So the other is, we're doing reservations and baseball is returning.
Soccer season begins, lacrosse begins,
The signups have closed, I think, for soccer. We have all the teams.
pavilions are being reserved.
We're looking at honoring a longtime board member.
Who is
What do we
that?
need to do for that?
So we're going,
How long ago was he a board member?
do we wanna do it live
He's
stream
been
or do we
41
wanna do it?
No, let's not.
41 years
Yeah.
on the rec board.
Yeah, so
Wow.
he has been on a long
On the
time,
rec board, okay.
and due to recent health issues, he's unable to continue.
I know.
So that, we will be putting a sign, I think we're dedicating a field
Mhm.
and possibly putting a bench and a tree up
Do you
in
know the
that
date
area,
on that?
so.
Any
We do
date?
not have a date, it will be a small, intimate ceremony,
Mhm.
and the board will be there, but
And you'll let
we don't
us
wanna
know.
overwhelm him with everything going on.
Okay.
But no, Bill was our longtime secretary for the board for forever.
So you don't want any C-130 flyovers.
No, that would not be ideal.
No, but to do something would be,
That's
I
nice.
think we owe it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a long time of service.
No, he actually, I know he has helped put in the bathrooms on East Park at Bicentennial. He actually has put up the 2 Bicentennial signs, the one on Airport Road and the one at the park on Hanover Street, that he was involved with that.
Oh, nice.
So, he has been involved for a long, long time.
Where does he live?
Bethel
Mohawk?
Township.
No, is he over by me?
Yeah, he's not, he's near the park. He can
Okay.
walk to the park.
Okay,
He's
thank you.
3 sinkholes away from
And
you.
we're getting garbage cans at the park, right?
We are looking at getting garbage cans per our budget. We need to replace the 55-gallon drums. So we will be presenting something or ordering depending on where they're at
What happened,
budget-wise.
they went out of service, or?
No, we use used oil drums and eventually those go bad and we
Oh,
don't
they're
have enough
rusty.
replacements with what we're ordering now.
Okay,
So we want something that will last and be aesthetically pleasing, but something that people will
Okay.
use.
Probably plastic.
That's what we're looking
Yeah.
at, or like a
recycling
coated metal.
container.
Yeah, like a recycling container.
Yeah.
And I tried to get her to donate the doggy bags, but she won't do that.
Some of the complaints we've had is dog droppings in the park. So
But we should have those bags.
And we were talking about the pavilion and,
the pavilion's locked out. We're gonna come up with a final material list and we're gonna have that completed by June. And then Jacksonville Park is going out for bid this Friday based on what the board had voted on, so that'll be starting in June.
You weren't
So-
here for that one.
I know,
So there's a lot going on with that.
Vacationer.
Okay, zoning. Everybody sees the report. It might be really small font, but everybody sees the report.
Mm.
no, I can't get in my thing.
You wanna try to read that?
Oh,
I think it's just a permit log, so.
oh my gosh.
It's just,
Okay, well, I'll read it when I get home. As soon as Brent gives me my password again,
Mhm.
that won't work.
all right, ambulance, see a report.
I attended their
Look at
board
this pen.
meeting, everything's running smoothly. Obviously, health insurance costs have skyrocketed and increased. So they're keeping an eye on that, but there's really not much they can do about it because they have to provide it for the full-timers, so it's a cost that just keeps going out of control. Otherwise, they're running good.
Fire report, everybody sees it, everybody has it, anything to add, subtract?
So, quickly, as you can see, things are going in a positive manner with the recruiting and the staffing program. We're actually doing well, which is a big plus for us. Again, you look at the call stats, the majority is still during the daytime, one of the killers for us, going there. For some reason, this year, we're off to a pretty massive increase in fire calls. It's been absolutely crazy.
For East Allen?
Well, general, we use
Mutual
mutual aid,
aid.
just like everybody's coming here, we're going there. So, but if you see I think this is the first month that the percentages where we were leaving the township, most of them have been actually in East Allen Township. So,
19 just in East Allen.
Right.
21 that you ran somewhere next door, I guess. So, I brought this up in, I think it was January, because I asked about possibly using some funds for gear out of recruitment and retention. And I know there was requests for the finances on where that account was lying. I don't know if you received that or not. But right now, with our current program, we don't have enough gear to outfit the people that are down there. And we just got 2, as you can see in the report, that are going to fire school. But we're also coming up within 3 years, we have to do a replacement program on 14 sets of gear to bring everybody up to compliance. So I asked for that, I was asking for funding out of recruitment and retention, but since that's going so well, I just worry how we're gonna wind up down at the end of the year. Now, the tanker was sold, it's on its roads down south somewhere, and the mini pumper was sold. The mini pumper was sold for $36,000, and the tanker was sold for $47,700. So I noticed the tanker money we talked about in discussion of utilizing some of that funding to outfit the new engine that's coming in.
Hopefully that comes soon because this engine's out of service again, it's down here. So we're relying on a tanker that that you guys purchased as pretty much our first out piece. What we're looking at is using the funds from the mini pumper sale possibly to do the purchase of 7 sets of gear to cut that in half, so in 3 years, we don't have to worry about buying 7 more or depleting our funds. That way, we're gonna order 7 sets of gear for the current membership that is there all the time, it's been with us since day one, and use what we have, the 3-year certification left out of it for the new folks that walk in the door, that we're not buying new gear for somebody until they're hanging around for a period of time. So we were hoping to possibly use those funds. I know it's not on the agenda, I just wanted to give you fair warning if it's something that's plausible. Could we put it on the agenda next month for you to maybe take a look at doing that? Because right now, from head to toe, 7 firemen, it is roughly $36,600 to outfit them from helmet to boots.
For 7.
So that's for 7.
Yep.
So,
So for 14, you're looking at 70,000.
right. So, and we took a lease out when we originally did it to get everybody up to compliance when we got those 14, and we got that. That paid off, but unfortunately, we were in a rock and a hard place because of NFPA's requirements. I don't want, that's crazy, I don't want to be buying 14 sets a gear every 10 years when it's just gonna go up in cost. So if we can split that we can offset that burden. And I understand your concerns for buying gear for somebody that you gotta worry about, maybe they're only there and you're gonna leave because of recruitment and retention. So that's why we're gonna utilize the funds for the current members that have been there substantially for us over the years. So just that, so that's brought to you, and if you know, if it's something you feel we could do, we'll get it placed on the agenda next month, and I can get you all the details that you need to know on that. But they were funds that weren't speculated in any of our budgets for the sale of that piece of equipment.
Why don't we start with putting it on the next workshop meeting, and I personally have no idea where you are financially. I have none.
Well, I hope she should
So
know.
I'm just, if we can,
No, I think they mean everything altogether.
like, the whole shoot, Matt, I don't know
Yeah.
where we're at. Like, how much we're giving you, and then what you have, and then you come and ask for more, which I'm not picking on you for that.
Right?
I
Oh,
won't.
absolutely. No, I agree, because you're gonna get rocked by
there's
the next
money-
thing I'm gonna tell you, so.
I think we need to get a grip on how much money we're dealing with. Right?
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly, so if he can get you all our finances, that's fantastic. You know,
Get that for the
Have
next.
you did any donation letters for like, maybe Keystone or somewhere that they could
We did, I
donate
just
a set?
I came up here for coffee and donuts with, the Representative Mako. I was over at their office just
Yeah.
3 days, last Thursday, I went over there to speak to them. So we looked at some grant funds, we looked at some grants for funding and educational, and so I sat with Deborah, who was over there. So we went over, so we're looking, but you gotta remember in the big picture, we will always apply for grants, you know, hopefully we're
Right.
awarded
I
and
mean, like
we're
donations,
capable of
like
getting them.
Keystone's a big place that would always need you guys, you know, if
Right.
something happens,
And,
and I thought
and
maybe
you
they
do
could.
get the donation letter that goes out during the course of the year, you know, but maybe things now, since you took over our budget this year, you know, you'll get a good understanding of what's going on, I hope. And, you know, the cost for repairs, and he could attest to it, when we spent a lot of money on apparatus, we're hoping that things go around. Like I said, that engine's down again, and we don't know what it's gonna cost to put it back on the road. So we're praying, and unfortunately, it took, 3.5 years to get the new truck, which is the end of this year, fingers crossed. So, but anyway, yeah, if you wanna get the finances from him and figure out where we lie with that whole thing, that would be great. Cause I mean, right now, I just don't want, cause this is gonna take time to get folks gear. That's gonna be the other thing. So,
Well, we can do it next month, or at least address it next month. I just, personally, I cannot pull those numbers out of my hat, because
absolutely.
I don't know those.
No, I agree. I don't even know them. I'm up here just whistling. I mean, I have an understanding of some of them, but I think he has more clarity since you took over our budget than we actually do, to a degree. I think, unless Greg knows better, I don't know.
Well, I think we had to sit down with Greg and come up with what actually is going on. I mean, at the end of the day, we're only budgeting 45,000. So we know that's what we're spending. We're not putting more than that out, other than for the trucks when they come. So that's where just the big totality of everything. So, and figuring out, I mean, the big thing with it is looking at the apparatus repairs and that cost going down the road.
And in our insurance, which we take.
Well,
out,
yeah,
Which,
the
and which
vehicle
I don't like
insurance.
the fact that we're talking about declining some of, our insurance down or reducing it for some of the members because of the cost, because God forbid if something happened to someone, you know, but now those premiums keep going up. And, you know, if somebody's volunteering up here and something bad happens to them, I wanna make sure at day's end that they're taking care of, or at least their family is, you know, if they're doing it for our township. So those costs are a big thing that roll into play for us. But again, you know, he can run the numbers and, you know, whatever you need from us, we'll gladly get it to you. But just, like I said, it gives you a little insight or foresight of what's taking place. The next thing is I brought the rescue truck replacement for you on that. I think we talked, that was back in November. So we got some ideas, and we don't, I don't like fire trucks. I think I made that statement publicly. I hate dealing with fire trucks. But to give you an idea, that's gonna be coming up on its 20-year mark. So reference, we talked about refurbing. I guess we chucked that out there. You can look anywhere from $500,000 to $800,000 for a refurbish on that rescue truck. Just throwing it out there. That's whether we go plain Jane, nuts to bolts, and hopefully they don't find anything that would be wrong with it if we did a refurb on the current one. And then dealing with warranties, and that would probably buy us about 10 years. Then the wonderful thing to tell you is brand new, you're looking at $1 million to $1.8 million to replace it, that type of vehicle. What comes along with that is they got a 3 to 4 year build out time frame on them. Every year they constantly go up.
Yep, nothing's instant.
So I don't care what you do with it. I think my statement was we can fix it, we can sell it, or we can buy a new one. I mean, we'll make do whatever we gotta do, but I just wanna get that out there, that obviously that plow truck's expensive, and these things aren't getting any cheaper. So is it something that we'd look at towards the end of the year, that maybe we put a plan together? Because as a township residents, those are sick numbers to me, to pay for that. But I can only fathom every year we go by, and if it's gonna take 3 to 4 years, if we decide to go new, nothing says we can't go refurb. So it's something you can decide upon. I mean, you can look at the budget, the finances, but it's March, it's ahead of the curve. Hopefully that's real wood. We haven't had any issues with her down there, with the rescue truck. A couple regen type situations with the motor and otherwise. But again, I just wanted to bring that insight to you because, again, like you said, I hate coming here and asking you for money. But unfortunately, that's a business, and it's a business that doesn't make money.
You're pretty good at it, though.
I'm doing my best, buddy. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm moving soon, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Down the street. All right. Open space,
There is no updates on,
We don't
okay?
have any meetings scheduled.
River
or anything?
Central,
River Central, we're pretty good there, I think.
I-
We're on our final draft, if I can say.
be done next week?
well,
We
right,
were meeting on,
we don't have a meeting till the end of the month with the group. I believe
better?
we're looking at adoptions of each of everybody's ordinances within the next 2 to 3 months. So our draft is done, it's been distributed. We gave everybody the month of March to go
I
through
printed
it.
it today, it's only 380 pages, so.
No,
it's
then
all
you didn't
good.
print the whole thing.
I didn't
You
print
did
the whole
double
thing.
side.
Oh, I did double
It's
side, it was still,
482.
oh, I
Yeah,
did
that's
double
why.
side, it was like an inch and a half.
Yeah, no, it
Wow.
is comprehensive and
Oh, my God.
so, but I think it addresses a lot of things. There are some things that are missing section numbers because the formatting that we're doing to try to make it simpler when we recodify next time when we add an amendment, we're not having some issues. So I would anticipate it getting released to the public in the next month or two, going to planning, going to the board, and going from there.
Yeah.
But it is a complete rewrite of the whole ordinance itself.
Wow.
yes.
It's not very
Well, that's
similar
all.
to what we have now.
Okay.
Okay.
Historic Society, I'll be brief on that. We're looking for our website to update it and get a new one so someone can work on that personally instead of calling someone to program every time we want to do something. And we have reached out to the school district for the friendship tree twice now, so we'll see what happens.
All right, thank you. Anything from the board? take that as a no. We got correspondence, we got a letter from, Representative McKenzie.
Form letter.
Any comments, questions? Okay, nothing, public comment.
Eric Miller, 6160 Snyder Church Road. I listened to the whole beginning of the conversation, you know, on YouTube
Eric, I
before I
can't
got
hear
here,
you.
so.
Okay.
What?
I can't hear you.
The mic's not picking.
Yeah, just move it a little bit closer to you. There you go.
All right, I just want to touch on the rental. I listened to, you know, before I came here on YouTube on the way here. I wanted to echo what Mr. Henry and what Mr. Mills says. I know you guys are thinking, I would highly suggest start thinking longer term. And I know, Mr. Cruz, you said that you weren't necessarily for single-family homes, but my suggestion is actually starting there and possibly branching out, because that's where you're gonna have your most issues, because of everything is just attainable. There's no attainable housing or anything else. So what's happening is a lot of private equity, a lot of people are just buying these single-family houses, not doing any upgrades, not doing any safety things, and just renting them out. And people are just paying because there's nothing out there. And when there's nothing out there, they're just grabbing whatever they can. So, and that's where, you know, in my opinion, that's where more of our problems are gonna be coming from, as what, you know, Ray was saying. You know, a lot of it is just safety, egress. You know, that's a big concern, is windows, you know, for volunteers, fire companies. I mean, if people are living in, you know, a bedroom, you know, the very minimum, we should have egress windows, which is what, 5.7, I forget how much the actual definition is. That way a fire person with, you know, your air pack and everything else can have access. Because there's a lot of houses that are older and they have small windows. And that is a big concern. You know, and a lot of the houses are pretty old around here and they're getting up there. So I would highly suggest start looking, doesn't have to be immediate, but within the next couple of years, you know, I wouldn't be against, you know, looking at all, basically ordinance, or I think you were saying a code enforcement officer, because a lot of that can be addressed township-wide. That's gonna be a big concern these next couple of years, with just housing being so unattainable for anybody. So that's just my, you know, suggestion why I wanted to come and, you know, support what I've been hearing. Big fan of all that, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Okay.
Seeing nothing. Georgianne?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion is made by Georgianne, seconded by Mark. One last chance, anything? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, go home.
What is this password?
Your iPad is